Reach review time with Imperial, and today's review is Knox Goes Away, starring Michael Keaton. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. So let's get into the cast. Let's go in there. You got Michael Keaton. He plays as John Knox. Ray McKinnon plays as Thomas Munchie. Cassie Moronis plays as a waitress. Jonah Kolick plays as Annie. That is John's girlfriend. And then you got Susie Nakamura plays as Detective Amy. And then you got a cameo. Well, he wasn't really a cameo appearance. So let's go James Marsden as Miles Knox, which is John Knox's son. And then we got Al Pacino plays as Xavier Crane. So this was a decent movie, but it's a slow drag to get to the meat and potatoes of the movie. It's a slow drag, but then the last 40 minutes of the movie it pick up, and then it ties everything together, and then you see how everything connected. So basically, John Knox, he's like a contract killer, and he works for Xavier Crane, which is Al Pacino, and so he's been away from he was in the military, and he has 2 PhDs, so he's an intelligent guy, and he had a wife and son, but he kind of like neglected them by work and stuff like that, his stuff he was doing. So he was partially in their life, but then he got caught up in his own world and abandoned them in a sense. So he made a target. He never wanted to know information about the target. He just went out there and handled business. He was diagnosed with a form of dementia, and what he had, it was a fast moving dementia. It was called like Creutzfeldt Jacob disease. It's a form of dementia, and it's accelerated. So the course of everything that's happening with him is a 7-week period. So within his 7 weeks, he went from starting to experience the dementia to totally having it by the 7th week, or so we believe. So in one of his, he knew he was fading out, so he wanted to do one last job. In the last job, he killed his partner Munchie because he was having the dementia. So what happens is he's starting to forget stuff, and he's coming in and out. So he was making mistakes where he would normally wouldn't. So one of the mistakes he made is 3 people got killed, Munchie, 2 other people, and the person that was in the shower, he turned the shower off. Where if this person was in the shower, why would they turn the shower off if they was dead? So that part raised flags for when the cops came to investigate. So he had that going on, and he pretty much went and told Xavier Crane he needs to get out. He confessed to him and told him what exactly was it he was experiencing, what he was going through, and he wanted to cash out. And basically what that meant is be done with it, because he had accelerated Alzheimer's, and he wanted his shares to go to 3 different people. Now, he had a Ukrainian, well, not Ukrainian, I forgot where she was from, but he had a girlfriend, and she, uh, um, Krakowian immigrant, that's his girlfriend. And nevertheless, he sees her on a date every Thursday. And so it's real structured. After that, his son shows up to his house. Son's got a cut on him. The son is pretty much telling him, hey, I just killed somebody. I don't never ask you for nothing. I don't bother you, but I need you to help me with this. So he's going through the dimension at this point. So he's in and out. And he asking his son what happened, what took place. He pretty much told his son, give me all your clothes, and uh, if anybody asks you, say the cut came from you being at my house and you cut your hand on a piece of glass here. So he took everything off his son, and he showed up to the scene of where the son killed him. So the son killed this man, this 32-year-old man who was dealing with his daughter online, his 16-year-old daughter, and got his daughter pregnant. So, that would be horrific for any father. So he went and approached the man, knew where the man lived at. The man started talking smack and he went off. He genetically has that temper in him like his dad and has that killer instinct because he killed him with ease or no problem. So the dad, John, went to the scene and seen the camera at the door, and he pretty much cleaned some things up and then left it there. Then he went in and where the son, oh no, not the son, where the man lives, he went there and the security guard put the security guard to sleep and went in there and fiddle faddle with the security footage. Now, at the time, you thinking, because he's dealing with the dementia at the time, you're thinking he great messed this all up. You thinking he's on the camera system himself. So did he delete himself that was on the camera's footage? And did he did see his son? Did he delete that from his son? So you don't know what's going on. So this is the slow drag. So he came back, told his son, I handled it. He took the killing weapon, had a conversation with his son, like, man, you need to get your thoughts together, get focused, because if the cops come around at this point, you need to be able to handle yourself and control yourself. So by this time, he's talking to Xavier Crane, telling Xavier Crane, like, I need you to call me like every day just to make sure I'm still intact. And Xavier pretty much told him, write stuff down in your notebook so that you can remember things when you come back too. So he was doing that. And so as this is accelerating, the cops is getting on to. So they got two different situations. They got the other scene where Munchie, his partner, was killed at. And then they got this other scene with the pedophile was killed at. So they're trying to connect the dots. So they first went to John, brought John in because his footage of him somewhere near the area or whatever for the first situation with Munchie, and brought him in, asked some questions, and the dementia was working, but he's still in tune. He still got his strong mind, so he was able to pull it out. Then what they did was they brought the son. Well, first I'm skipping a part. The son went and made his daughter get a not made. He talked with the mom, and they had the daughter get an abortion. So Miles is the son. So Miles took his daughter, 16-year-old daughter. She had an abortion, and what happened later? The cops came. The cops, while they're doing an investigation, you got Detective Gufuso, and then you have Detective Emily. She's the lead detective. She's piecing everything together, and she's pretty much, they pulled the IP address and found the daughter and found who this guy, what he was doing on his computer, talking to young kids. But they said one repeatedly that was really taking interest, and they was talking for a long period of time. So they pulled the family in, made the dad go separate. Pretty much they end up accusing the dad that you was responsible for his death. Now, what took place at this while all this is going on, John is tying up all loose ends and he's getting all his affairs in line. He went to go see his ex-wife, which is Miles' mom. Pretty much told her this is gonna be the last time she pretty much talked to him, and saying his lifestyle finally caught up with him, and she's gonna he gonna send her some money when he cash out. And she was like, I don't want your money. And he pretty much was like, well, take the money and do something for basically his granddaughter that he never met. Do something for her, make her go, have the money for her to go to one of them things, them big things. And she's like, are you talking about college? And he's like, yeah, that, because he was losing his mind. And so he set things up. And so his girlfriend, he was telling her, so she was snooping in his house. She seen that he had something going on with his health, seeing he had a neurologist book. and she was listening to him, so she called her buddies to set him up to get the money. Now he had her in his will of receiving like a third of a cut or whatever. But she seen a picture of his ex-wife, so she figured she wasn't in the picture, but he really did have her in there. So after he had everything set up with three people to get a cut, his son, his ex-wife, and then a girl, she called her cronies and had them come in. They was gonna rob him for the money and then rob him for the diamonds and stones and stuff. So he just, it showed how he went in action and shot up the henchmen that came in there after him. And then he had the gun at her, and then he pretty much told her like, "Yo, I was going. You was the third person." She was like, "No, I'm not your ex-wife." He said, "No, it was you, my ex-wife, and my son." And then he put the gun at her, and it made it look like he killed her. But you see at the end when everybody got their cut, he went and called Xavier Crane, and Xavier Crane cashed them out and pretty much washed the money so that the families, his people could get the check. And he instead of giving it to three people, he only gave it to two, his son and his wife. And he kept her alive. He kept Annie alive. He didn't kill her. He just sent her his book collection. Now, where the twist came in, the son got accused for the murder of the man. However, it was put on him like he was framed by his dad. And so he was locked up. He had to get a lawyer, and they had the murder weapon inside his apartment. The clothes was behind his apartment building. The murder weapon was in his apartment vent. And so when John went to go see his son Miles, he was like, "Dad, what's going on? Like, I came to you, said you could fix this." He's like, "Look, man, I know you." The dad, John, was pretty much like said, "Hey, listen, I know you dime me out. That's why I had to do them tax for tax evasion. I know you dime me out, and I had to stick it to you." And so he's like, "Dad, what are you talking about? Like, I had nothing to do with that." What you say? He said, "No, I know it was you." And so he just walked off. So you wondering what's going on? Is John going through dementia? He's delusional, but no, what really was happening? He was setting up the play. So what ended up happening in the forensics and all that got in? They said that Miles was framed, and that the dad framed him. Really, the dad did the killing, but he framed Miles. And uh, so when they was releasing Miles, letting him free because he was framed, they Detective Emily was like, "Well, why, your dad, how do you feel about your dad?" He's like, by this time he's angry. He's like, he's a piece of whatever, whatever, and he's a piece of crap. And but it start playing in his head what happened. He said, "We releasing you. We see that, the stuff was framed. You was framed for this by your dad. What would make your dad, why would he hate you so much? What did you do to him to make him hate you so much?" And then he was like, out of one that told him, he said it clicked in his head. "I told on him for the tax evasion. That's why he get me back with this." And so it played out where John put the case on him that he killed him, but he was framing his son. And then because he has dementia and everything, he wouldn't really do real time. So when Miles showed up to the jail to thank his dad for what he did, the dad was just sitting there like he was deep into dementia, and he pointed to Miles to let them know that they recorded and listening to these conversations. Miles picked it up and he just went into like the zone or whatever. And so the detective met with John and had a conversation with him, and he went into his dementia mode on her. So she pretty much was like, this ain't worth it," because he really was diagnosed with that, but you don't know how deep in he has it. Is it um far deep where he's far gone, or he just playing like that? So that was the cool twist at the end. And so the son finally got out, left his dad. It showed John was then he didn't have to do jail time. They shipped him to like a mental treatment place or whatever. So, and then it showed the mom, the ex-wife, getting her check. It showed the son getting his check, and it showed Annie getting the books. And then it just ended. The movie ended with John looking out in the sky, and you don't know whether he got his right mind or he's just playing the game. So this was a decent movie. Just was a slow drag in the beginning. The last 40 minutes took off. Out of my 4-star rating system, I give this movie a 2.5 out of 4 stars. And if it picked up a lot of traction, I could see where they could do a part 2, because you don't really know if they could something could happen where they're using his his skill set, and because you don't know if he fully gone or not. He'll use that to his advantage. But subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.